Hello, I'm Helene Makani and I'd like to introduce you to the Enneagram, the model of the Enneagram with the 9 types. And the model which I have drawn behind me here is a model consisting of or describing 9 personality types and the deep unconscious motivation that each of the type has for doing what they do. It's also a model for describing how you can work on your personal development, how there's a path for each of the 9 types to work on their personal development. The model consists of a circle and a triangle inside the circle and a symbol inside the circle. And some of the parts of this model is actually known from very old ancient times, like this symbol has been seen in drawings from ancient times. But the model itself, as we know today, the Enneagram, the way we use it today, was developed in the 1960s in South America by a guy called Oscar Escaso, who also worked with somebody called Claudio Naranjo. And they developed this model as putting 9 personality types on a circle and describing how there's connections between the types, how people move when they're under pressure and when they feel safe and secure, and how we actually change a little in our personality. The 9 types are placed on the circle, which means that if you, for instance, are a personality type 1, then you can have traits from either the 9 lying beside you or from the 2 lying on your other side. So we call this wings. So we talk about, for instance, a type 1 with a 9 wing or a type 1 with a 2 wing. What the model also describes is what happens to us when we are under pressure and what happens when we feel very safe and secure. So the lines between the 9 types, between the types, describes, for instance, type 1, when type 1 is under pressure, describes how type 1 moves along the line with the arrow into some traits from type 4. And when type 1 feels safe and secure, how type 1 moves towards some traits, takes some traits on from type 7 against the arrow, and then actually changes a little in his personality. The model is very useful for personal development because what we can learn from the model is to understand a lot about our own patterns, how our own psychology repeats patterns in our lives, and how some of these patterns actually may be the cause of some of the problems we are in. And actually the idea of the model, the basis of the model, is the idea that what we are doing is we're trying to achieve something by doing what we're doing. The psychology is trying to achieve something, or what we often call it, the false self is trying through psychology to achieve something, to achieve an inner state of mind. So we go out in the outside and do a lot of things to achieve this. But the model can actually help us to understand that we can work and work on the outside trying to find it on the outside. But what we could really do to really get in touch with it is to let go of some of these psychological patterns, let go of some of this false self, and instead find the true self behind and just develop and let this inner state grow inside us. So this becomes a much more natural part of us. So when we learn about the model, we'll also learn about what is it that each type is really looking for, and how can they actually work on this, how can they develop this inside themselves. And the easy answer to this is let go of some of the things that you have done up till now. But that, of course, is very, very difficult for all of us because we think, no, this is me. That's who I am. For instance, I'm a type 4. And earlier I would say, I am all my feelings. I am this very temperamental person. This is me. But the more I have worked with the Enneagram, the more I have learned about the model and learned about myself and my patterns, the more I have learned what I'm really looking for. I will never find it by making all these dramas and thinking that I am all these feelings. Instead, I have to go inside and find this inner state of peace of mind, this inner state of being that everybody knows from time to time and can grow inside of us. And this inner state for the type 4 of knowing that I have my place in the world and I have something valuable to give to the world.